It is fitting to begin here, in the heart of Washington, D.C., where J. Edgar Hoover lies at rest.
He was a local kid. He grew up here on Capitol Hill, just a few blocks away, and this is his family plot.
But Rebecca Roberts of Congressional Cemetery says it's former FBI agents who built the fence and the bench, creating a memorial that draws new recruits.
Every now and then, some young men in dark suits with little wires coming out of their ears come in the front gate of the cemetery, and they are coming to pay their respects to the director.
The director.
No case ever ends for the Federal Bureau of Investigation until it is solved and closed with the conviction of the guilty or the acquittal of the innocent.
Over an astonishing 48 years, starting in 1924, J. Edgar Hoover became one of the most powerful men in American history, a man who collected secrets and knew how to use them.
G-men must be lawyers or graduate accountants, trained minds to get the facts.
He made the FBI a symbol of professional law enforcement.
FBI men shoot only in self-defense.
May I emphasize that the Federal Bureau of Investigation is as close to you as your nearest telephone. It belongs to you.
But he also considered the Bureau his personal fiefdom.
Presidents were afraid of firing Hoover. Congress didn't want to do any oversight. The FBI was a law unto itself.
Ron Kessler has written 3 books about the FBI. He says that, ironically, in the beginning, Hoover, a young Justice Department lawyer, was charged with cleaning up a corrupt division.
Hoover emphasized the need for professionalism, not hiring people just because they were friends of someone or family members. He established the fingerprint operation. He established the indexing system with the files.
Machine gun sharpshooting from a fast-moving car.
He also established the FBI Academy to train agents in crime-busting techniques, making sure he got the credit.
Director Hoover supervising field practice, and the target might be a gangster car.
In fact, the Bureau's reputation and Hoover's soared with high-profile takedowns of gangsters like John Dillinger. But out of the spotlight, the director was consolidating his power in another way. How did he go about collecting dirt on people?
Well, Hoover, for one thing, would tell, for example, the head of the Washington field office, I want material on congressmen, and that would include affairs that they might be having, or they were picked up for seeing a prostitute the night before. And then he would make sure that they knew that he knew what they had done.
Hoover kept files on celebrities like Marilyn Monroe, John Lennon, Elvis Presley, and even Albert Einstein.
In part because he wanted to have little gossip items to impart to presidents. On the other hand, just to maintain his aura as being this powerful person who knew everything.
That's a complete fabrication.
Cartha Deke DeLoach, now 91, was one of Hoover's top lieutenants.
So this is you and the director?
Yes.
He insists that if the FBI kept files on public figures, it was for legitimate reasons. Case in point, the information that President John F. Kennedy was sharing a girlfriend, Judith Campbell Exner, with Chicago mob boss Sam Giancana.
That came to our attention because of the wiretap and microphones that the Attorney General approved. The White House knew about them, that we had on Giancana. As a result, the White House sometimes would call Exner and it would be overheard by a wiretap.
As for the bugging of Martin Luther King Jr., who feuded with Hoover over the Bureau's enforcement of civil rights, the FBI's alleged justification for tapping King was an investigation into 2 of his advisors who were said to be communists. But the taps ended up recording evidence of King's extramarital affairs.
Hoover was outraged that King was having affairs and projected himself as a minister. But at the same time, Hoover also, I believe, was jealous of King. He got the Nobel Prize, and that really infuriated Hoover. And Hoover just totally went after him. And he would even write letters to people who wanted to give awards to King, saying, you know, you shouldn't do that.
Hoover may have amassed information on the sex lives of many prominent figures, but his own personal life has long been the subject of speculation. There were for years reports and rumors that Hoover used to cross-dress.
Yeah. The rumor that Hoover cross-dressed and wore a red dress to the plaza was a concoction of someone who actually had been convicted of perjury and was quoted in a book. It didn't happen.
J. Edgar Hoover, director, and his chief assistant, Clyde Tolson.
But how about Hoover's relationship with his top deputy, Clyde Tolson?
Tolson and Hoover would go on vacations together, would take adoring pictures of each other, would have lunch and dinner together almost every single day. There's no actual evidence of a sexual relationship, but I believe he was homosexual and that he had a spousal relationship with Tolson.
Deke DeLoach says he never saw anything other than friendship between the two men, but that Hoover was aware of rumors.
He'd actually have agents go and visit people and say, I understand you're saying
I
some things
did.
about the... You went to people and said, I understand you're talking about the director?
Yes, I was told to do it, saying you have made remarks concerning Mr. Hoover being a homosexual. Give me the evidence, and they'd always back down.
Through the years, under 8 presidents, Hoover became all but untouchable.
Edgar, the law says that you must retire next January when you reach your 70th birthday.
LBJ even allowed him to serve beyond the 70-year age limit.
I have just now signed an executive order exempting you from compulsory retirement for an indefinite period of time.
And Richard Nixon didn't fire him either.
Nixon was afraid to do it.
Were people afraid to do it because they were afraid that Hoover would go ballistic on them and start leaking out bad stuff about them?
That was part of it. They were afraid of him.
Hoover died in 1972 at age 77.
He fulfilled the American ideal of a man who made his own way.
His funeral was a state occasion. But shortly after his death, details began leaking of a controversial domestic spying program and of Hoover's own personal abuses, for example, using FBI agents to work on his home. What do you think happened to Hoover along the way?
Hoover, being as powerful as he was and having all this adulation all the time, did think he was God. And initially, he was very farsighted. He did create this great organization, but as time went on, he became a despot.
Shortly after Hoover's burial, Clyde Tolson, who inherited Hoover's entire estate, bought the closest available plot. And almost 40 years after J. Edgar Hoover's death, we are still wondering about his secrets. Those he used, those he kept.